to the tap in. We talking again. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Might talk a little shit, get a little brash. Might drink a little bit, smoke a little bit. Vibe a little bit, laugh a little bit. Yeah. Hosted by Fidel. Tell it like it is, only tell it real. Live every Tuesday, you know the deal.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Fidel Abnano Jr. This is Talking Again podcast. We are here at the Tap Studios with none other than Mariano Big Dawg Mendoza. That's right. How are you, Mariano?
Blessed, brother. Yeah. Good, man. I've been waiting for this podcast since Mark told me about it.
But yeah, that was like a year and a half ago or something when he was on. May he rest in peace, Mark. But yeah, he, you know, like I mentioned to you, Mark always wanted to go big. He never did anything small just to kind of do it. He went big. So that's why I think it took so long that he just couldn't find the right thing. I mean, we talked about doing something at his house at night with a fire out going on and explosives and this and that.
He wanted a big production.
Big production. It just never came to fruition.
Terminator,
but, yeah,
Rambo.
Man. But I'm glad you're here, man. And I did want to talk to you a little bit about your career, man. Like your life in general. You've done so much. You know, and I say in such little time because you're still young, 50 years old, right? 52 years old. Yeah. Young buck still to me, you know, if you ask me, right? Because I'm about 40, so we're still young, dude. You know? And you've done
I
and
believe
you've accomplished.
age is a mindset.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, hopefully you look healthy.
Yeah. If I could look like you, yeah. There you go. That's why I still hit the bag every once in a while when I can, you know?
It's never too late, brother.
I'm a seasonal guy. I'm a guy that works out seasonal, you know? It's like a seasonal thing. There's times when hibernation comes and I just sit back and relax and drink and eat my good food, but then I got to get back in shape, you know?
That's
every
balance,
3 months.
Man. If you don't have fun, you don't enjoy eating, you know, a little junk food here and there, then it's like you're not living. You know, you have to have those days. But yeah, I agree with you.
But you're right, though. It's a balance, right? You know, like, if you're gonna cheat a little bit, you know, you got to work out a little bit more or whatever.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I live in the gym. That's been my whole life. The gym's kind of saved my life in a sense. Yeah, sounds kind of weird, but the gym saved my life.
Where did that all start from you? Because I know you're an LA native, right?
Yes.
Born and raised here in LA. You're kind of a little bit of an implant all over the place. You know, you talked a little bit about you were in the foster care system for several years. Where did it all start for you as far as in the gym, you say?
Man, well, even before the gym, you know, it was all the craziness in foster homes and boys' homes, moving left and right. The gym started in Norwalk at a gym called the American Eagle Gym. That was actually what they call it. If you ever watch those old gyms like Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he used to train underground, the dungeons, they used to call it the dungeon. Yeah. Muscle Beach, Venice, when it was all jacked up, when Danny Trejo used to train there, it was called the dungeon or the yard, they call it a nickname. But yeah, this gym was everything just old school, heavyweight. I mean, we have a plate that was 100 pounds. Shit. And that was like a solid steel, not that rubber coating stuff that you have now.
That's where there's no extensions. It's all heavy deadlifts, you know, right?
Yeah, they had a couple machines, you know, lat pull down,
but nobody used
crossovers. Right? You know, the bodybuilder guys did, but we had some world champion weightlifters, including C.T. Fletcher. Oh, yeah. You know, he was my mentor. Me and him actually both have the strict curl world record. He has a 2-time world record at 225 and I think 220, and I have the heavyweight world record at 212 and 215. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of history there at American Eagle Gym. Sherry was the owner. She was like my gym mom, and still to this day, I look at her as a mom. And everybody, I mean, we had strong guys in there. Yeah. I mean, average guy was benching 315.
Dang, that's average.
I started out at 150. And I ended up doing competition in Venice Beach. My best was a 515 bench press. Yeah. And that's with the lifting shirt, legal, 1001, lock it out, boom.
No, what's a lifting shirt? I don't think I've ever heard of a lifting shirt.
Yeah, they call it a singlet. It takes two people to put it on. Oh. You're like, and it's a singlet, and basically it helps you so that some people
for
say
form?
Is
like
it's
form?
For form, exactly. So you're boom. Yeah. Some people say that it's a little cheating, but it's not. It's like wearing wrist wraps, you know, kind of like that. But you still got to be strong. You still got to lift the weight. You know what I mean? We had a couple Samoans in there. CT was the strongest natural bencher at that time with a 750, 725.
Dang. That's some
Yeah.
crazy weight to be pushing on.
Yeah, man.
And it wasn't like Coleman was known for like lifting heavy and hard too. That's why he's all beat up now, like knees and joints are all
Ron Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, him and when I was fighting, it was that UFC fight. They're making a movie about him actually. Mark Kerr, the Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
But
Beast.
actually,
Yeah,
they got The Rock to play him.
Oh, is that right?
The Rock's gonna play Pablo Smith, and the guy I fought for, he basically made the documentary about the Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
Mark Kerr, his story was about a guy who was crazy. He was a champion wrestler, but he got hooked up with the steroids. He got hooked up with the painkillers. Just like back during that time, we all had to use some of that in order to overcome our pain and to keep on fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
No, and I have that on my notes as far as steroids because I do want to get back to the steroids thing because I think during that era, I think everybody was kind of messing around with steroids. I mean, as far as athletes, actors, like they were all messing around with steroids and almost to the sense where it was normal, a little bit of normalcy, right, to be using it. But just that some people weren't using it the right way. But again, we'll get back to that. But you were talking about in Norwalk, that's where it started the gym for you, working out with those guys. Hitting, getting max records, world records. Some of those like the strict curl. I was looking at some photos from you back in the day, a little younger with hair, right?
Yeah.
So now this is a Big Dawg with hair. You're like a split image, a little bit bigger split image of Van Damme.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see that or not.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, this guy looks like Van Damme, the Latino Van Damme.
Van Damme, and they even told me Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
And that was crazy because I actually did some insert shots for Vin Diesel, and I worked with them on Fast 4, the one where they're doing the cartel stuff in Mexico. So yeah, that's where I actually got to work with. I got to hang out with Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, just a background guy. And next thing, hey, you want to have a beer with us in this trailer? So I was hanging out with both of them. We were talking about Jiu Jitsu because Paul Walker was he loved Jiu Jitsu, and they gave him an honorary black belt. And Vin Diesel, I always just remember that cool role with both of them right there. And then that girl that played Wonder Woman, she was in there too.
Yeah. Gadesha something, right?
Yeah, Gadot.
Gadot.
Yeah. So that was like, wow, she wasn't big then.
No, yeah, that's like one of her first roles, right? And then now she's like huge superstar.
And it's funny because she kept on messing up the lines.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So you see, I worked with a lot of big actors.
Yeah.
And I seen a lot of screw ups, and I'm like, wow, man. And sometimes I wish I had the camera; they could see them. Take number 20, number 10. So, I'm like, wow, they mess up. They get nervous. They're humans, man.
Just like all of us, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Unless you're on Talking Again podcast, because right here there's unfiltered, nothing's rehearsed, and we do everything on the cuff.
Exactly. That's good, man. That's the way I like it.
It's got to be man raw, right? Yeah.
Like, follow the script. Do this. I got little notes, but it's just to see what the important stuff.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I got my bullet points here because I like to have some kind of a guideline of what we're gonna be talking about. But going into like the weightlifting and how much it meant to you. How much of an impact was that for you in your transition going into MMA?
Well, you know what's so funny? I didn't know I was going to be a world champion weightlifter, competitive bodybuilder. I didn't turn professional, obviously, because I wasn't big enough. But I did win on both over like 45 trophies. Yeah. I won Muscle Beach in my weight class. And that's really hard because as a Latino, we're not known to be big bodybuilders, big guys.
Right.
But I actually good. And I was training with Charles Glass, who's the godfather of training. If you know Charles, he trained all the big bodybuilders. He trained Wesley Snipes, Denzel Washington, Magic Johnson, a lot of WWE guys. Yeah. And so I got to work with him, and the bodybuilding, it helped me out because I was so angry as a kid when I, going through the abuse as a kid, and then being in foster homes and boys homes. I was in a Long Beach boys home for 2 years, and I used to get bullied. And so all those things, and hearing as a kid, oh, you're not gonna be nothing, you're dumb, you're slow. You know, that's my stepfather said.
Oh wow.
So all those negative things,
Yeah.
says, okay, I'm gonna be somebody, man. I'm gonna be somebody, and that's where it all started. Weightlifting, then the MMA, then the acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how it worked, but God had a plan. You know, you always say you got to do your part.
Yeah.
You know, it's people don't understand all the hard work it takes to be the best or the top guys in the world, and I was one of the top guys in the world.
Yeah.
By Grappler magazine, I got a couple magazines that say at the bottom with all the other legends, the top 100 most scariest fighters in the world, and I was on there, which is really cool. Black Belt magazine,
Yeah.
Kung Fu, 6 other MMA magazines, you know. Federico La Panda, the guy who brought me in, he's the co-creator of the UFC. Without him, there would be no UFC.
Oh, is that right?
And that's what, you know.
Panda?
Yeah, Federico La Panda. Yeah, he's the one that basically brought that big heavyweight. He brought not only the Gracies, but he brought, I forgot his name, man. He has a gym over there in Laguna Beach. And he's basically, he brought Vale Todo over here, because without Jiu Jitsu, there wouldn't be MMA, because you have kickboxing, you got boxing, you got wrestling, and then Jiu Jitsu basically made it mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And I was never that good at Jiu Jitsu. I had a blue belt, which is the second from the bottom, but I got to fight the 2 best fighters in the world at that time.
Yeah.
You know, I was like,
well, now, like Jiu Jitsu, you know, like you said, if it wasn't for Jiu Jitsu, it wouldn't be MMA. If that was like when it started, it was kind of like Jiu Jitsu coming out here and to the States to see what style of fighting was the best, right? Was it boxing? Was it wrestling? Was it Muay Thai? Was it Jiu Jitsu? Was it Krav Maga?
Yeah.
And it ended, and in a way, it kind of ended up being Jiu Jitsu, right? Like even Gracie, you know, Gracie won his 2 tournaments or whatever, but in today's fighter, if he doesn't know Jiu Jitsu, he's not gonna be successful. He's not gonna be a successful fighter.
Now you need everything, man, and you need to be good at everything. I mean, you don't need to be a black belt, because people don't understand Jiu-Jitsu black belt. It's unheard of. If you get a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, it probably takes 30 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it takes that long. Where you get I got a black belt in karate or kung fu. Oh yeah, some of the guys bought their black belts.
Yeah.
They went to school for a year or two. And then start, hey man, give me the black belt. Even though I was a yellow belt, it was just $400, $300. So
that's all it takes for a black belt.
That's just back then.
Yeah.
So Jiu-Jitsu, they don't give it to you.
Yeah.
I seen some guys be yellow belt for like 3 years before they went up.
Dang.
Because Gracie said, no, we're not going to give that. Or the father said, make it hard. And now you got Americans that are just as good as the Brazilians in Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, some of these, now we're talking 25, almost 30 years of MMA. You got kids that are growing up 20 years old that know nothing but MMA. They started training as MMA as a style, right? Before boxing, before it was like MMA. That's how they started grappling as a 2-year-old,
Yeah.
I seen that, Yeah. And that's
High
probably the
school
scary
wrestling.
part is that these kids, now that they're 25, they're just studs. They know nothing but MMA. And they don't look it. You see some of these guys walking around at 130, 140, and you're like, looks like a nerd. And that nerd's gonna make you tap, dude, in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you can't put a guy judge a guy according to his size, because I seen guys that are half of my size that just submit you in an armbar, or a rear naked choke, or a kimura, or just a shoulder roll, or a neck crank, or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just never know. And that's what Gracie, he was 160 pounds, and he was taking out guys that one big guy that was 300 pounds. Yeah, 250. And they said Jiu-Jitsu is effective.
Yeah.
Now they use Jiu-Jitsu in the military, in the police academy. It's an effective art because it goes to the ground. It's like wrestling. I was good at wrestling. That's one thing I could say. I was pretty good at wrestling because I trained with Daryl Golar, who was
train in high
American.
School or?
No, high school. I was a track guy, track and field.
So were you kind of thin?
Yeah, I was thin, long legs. I actually got a scholarship to go to Cerritos College. It was a partial.
Yeah.
I ran the hurdles, the 110, the 330, intermediate, and I ran the 400. I was the fastest Mexican in the school, but I went to 3 different high schools.
Oh,
So,
right.
I ran the 400. And my best 400, I think, was 49.8, which is, it's enough to make it to CIF.
Yeah.
So I did pretty good. And the hurdles, I made it to preliminary, but I got beat, because the blacks are just better than us.
Jeez, that's a bold statement, right? But I guess so.
Yeah, I mean,
so going off of that real quick though, you're training when you got into MMA. What gym were you training at? Because I know you were training with guys like Frank Shamrock, Chuck Liddell, but what was the camp or gym? Was there any gyms or camps?
Yeah, there was I trained out of what is it called? 10th Planet.
Oh, okay.
They had one with Eddie Bravo,
Yeah.
who he actually trained Joe Rogan.
Right.
Right.
I think he gave him his belt, his black belt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he worked with them. I trained at Long Beach Muay Thai Academy. I trained with Koban, with Saxon.
Oh, wow.
All these guys are legends from Thailand, over 200 fights. They started fighting when they were 10 years old. And over in Thailand, they fight to support their family.
Yeah.
And it's no joke. I trained at...
they have a lot of fights. It's not just like, they fight a few times a week, right?
Yep. They're fighting. Yeah, I want to go there because they say there's the main stadium in Thailand called Olympic Stadium, Lupinex.
Yeah.
That's the biggest stadium in Thailand. If you go fight there, you're really good.
There's a lot of fighters that are taking time away from their careers to go to Thailand and train out there for a few months, right?
A lot of Toby was one of my trainers. Toby Wildheart Greer. He was a TFA champion. I was a fight promoter also.
Oh, wow.
And I was I refereed 6 MMA fights for TFA. So this is before you had to be licensed to be a referee. But this is when it was bare knuckle. It was pancration rules: close fist to the body, slaps to the head.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Some Boss Rutins.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Boss actually trained me for a couple months. He had a school with Randy Couture in Hollywood. Yeah. What was it called?
It wasn't
Planet.
Was it Couture? Wasn't it the Couture camp?
No, it was it was a different name. Yeah, it was in Hollywood, across the street from Hollywood Boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was famous, and then some people signed up, thought they were going to get trained by Boston. They did a couple classes and, hey, I want to get trained, and they lied.
Yeah.
So the school didn't last long, but there's so many MMA schools, and Tap Out. I worked for the owner of Tap Out.
Oh yeah.
The one in downtown, the only one in LA.
Tap Out, the apparel company that now is a huge MMA company, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm good friends with Dan Caldwell. Dan Caldwell, he's one of the creators of Tap Out with Scrape and Punk Ass.
Yeah.
His nickname is Punk Ass.
Yeah.
But we were at Tap Out downtown LA. That was probably about 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And Mark was the owner, and we had all kinds of people come there, including Ronda Rousey. She came by there.
Oh, wow.
We had some of the UFC fighters would come and do promos there because it's Tap Out. You know?
Back when in UFC you were able to promote, on your shorts and all that.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's when the fighters were making, some good dough, right?
Yeah.
Being able to promote.
Like, I got all these sponsors on the shorts.
Condom depots and whatever they're sponsoring, but whatever paid, right?
Yeah, the weed shops are sponsoring the beer, the tequila.
Yeah,
you name it, they were all on there. Even I think it was what is it called? Like you said, condoms. Playboy.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was actually, when I fought in Brazil, I was in a magazine article. You can go to my Facebook, and I was on Hustler magazine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they showed my neck, and they showed not to brag, but I had the biggest traps.
Yeah.
Right here, they called me No Neck Big Dog.
Oh, shit.
And so they said, "Yeah, would you like to meet this guy in a dark alley?" And I was Hustler magazine. Yeah. I still have that picture. Of course, I didn't have the other stuff because I can't. My wife will slap me. Naked ladies. They did a magazine. They wanted tough guys.
Yeah. How was the grotto? Did you get to go visit the grotto at the Playboy Mansion?
Oh no, I didn't go to that. I just
you could tell me off here. Don't worry about it. You could tell me off here.
It was a Hustler. That one was.
Hustler. Okay, that's right, Hustler.
Yeah, Hustler was the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
It was
Flint.
Yeah, Larry Flint.
Larry
Flint.
So
they thought MMA and hot girls. You know what I mean? That was the thing back then. So I just got lucky because I was the first Mexican bodybuilder turned MMA fighter, and that's how it all happened. And it happened over in gym, boxing gym, MMA gym, actually, called LA Boxing in downtown LA.
Yeah, famous LA boxer.
Very legendary. A lot of the best boxers in the world came there. It was like Main Street boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard trained there. Sugar Shane Mosley trained there. Maromero Paez.
Oh yeah,
El Paez, yeah.
Maromero.
Al Stanky, who trained Muhammad Ali. Layla Ali, she trained there.
Yeah.
So it was legends.
A lot of greats, you know.
Yes, yes.
Hey, tell me a little bit about when you got that call. Now, they're looking for a fighter for Francisco Bueno, right? They can't find anybody to compete with this guy. Everybody's afraid of this guy, right? Tell me about that call. When you get that call, you're training out there with Frank and Chuck, and you're like, "Hey, man, are you willing to take this fight?" How did that go through?
You know what? I was at LA Boxing, and my Muay Thai was really good. My kickboxing was really good. My wrestling was pretty good. So, anyways, I just basically one of the promoters came there. Hey, I want to offer you a fight. My manager was he's managed a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah.
What was his name? He managed Roddy Piper. He managed who's that big guy? Big white dude. He was big and fat.
Was he actually like TV
he was
manager?
a real boxer, world champion boxer.
Okay.
Butterbean.
Oh, Butterbean.
He managed Butterbean.
Shit.
He managed.
He managed Butterbean. I thought
he managed,
he
managed me. So that's how I got the opportunity to say, "Hey, Mariano, they couldn't fight a fighter." If you look at the comments on the WVC 12, and Federico and the other guys are talking about Mariano, we couldn't find anybody, and they say, "Hey, we need a big Mexican guy." And so I happen to be a bodybuilder, 19-inch arms, 32-inch legs, 6-pack.
Yeah.
I look like The Rock,
but,
a martial artist, of course, way tougher than The Rock. Sorry, brother. But you have some skills. But
let's be honest,
you haven't
right?
fought in the cage yet, buddy. Like my buddy, my good friend, Batista, Dave Batista.
Oh, yeah, Dave, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Actually, I got to work with him. I did a stand-in double-in on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really? I can see it.
So
yeah.
I and before that we were friends at Gold's, and that's where I met him.
Yeah.
And he even took me out to eat. I had his phone number. I mean, that's one guy I can brag about. And if he ever sees this, he'll go, yeah, Mariano's telling the truth. He's
nice.
And it was just he was into MMA, and he tried to get into the sport. He did
had
a couple fights,
yeah.
And it didn't go well for him,
He's a lot. It's a lot. He looks a lot scarier than he fights.
Yeah,
Is that safe
exactly.
to say? I hope he doesn't kick my ass. I don't think he'll ever see me though. So, but I'll let him know that I know Mariano Mendoza though. So
yeah, and he's cool, man. Because I was like, "What are you doing here, man?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm an actor too, man."
Yeah.
They called me and said, "If you want to be the stand-in for Dave Bautista," that was one of my funnest roles. But I've done so many incredible roles that I got the name Mexican Debo. I got Mexican Arnold. I got Van Damme, Mexican Van Damme, and all those names because of all the movies and all the stuff that I was able to do, which cool, man. That was nicknames that all these different producers and actors gave me.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a laundry list of credits that go again too many to even list here for me, but I mean you guys could check them out. It's just so many things that you've done. Some of these right here are some of the films that you've done, DVDs that you have with us right here, but it's just so much work that you've done. That's why I say you've accomplished so much in just such little time. Excuse me. But sometimes I like to even think that with all of this, it's kind of like the OG, the pioneer of a lot of things ahead of your time, whereas if you were doing what you did then, now, and I think I've heard you say it would go viral, which I believe it would, like everything that you've accomplished then is just that different era, kind of nobody really knew unless you were into bodybuilding, into MMA, you would know and learn more of Mariano Mendoza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that a pretty fair statement?
Yeah. Social media was not really big. And not to brag, I was the first Mexican heavyweight bodybuilder to go fight in Brazil for a world title.
Right.
It was a belt.
Yeah.
I fought for a belt. And of course, I looked at the belt and go, wow, that's pretty awesome. And it was 15,000 people. I fought in Recife, Brazil. That's where I fought. And I fought in Jamaica against Stefanos. Stefanos is the bad guy that fights Van Damme. So I got to fight him in Jamaica, and Kiss was performing live. So I got to meet Gene Simmons and everybody, which is really cool.
That's pretty
And
cool.
then I fought Cage Combat. That was really cool. Those are basically Tap Out started in Cage Combat.
Oh, yeah?
They used to sell their T-shirts in
Out
the
of their
back
car,
of their
right?
car
Yeah.
for $5. Actually, I had one of their old T-shirts, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have kept it.
Oh,
It
you
was-
don't have it anymore? That would've been
No,
dope,
I
man.
would. Yeah, some of my friends do, like Maverick. Maverick was one of their main fighters.
Yeah.
Maverick, the Soul Assassin. And,
Yeah.
and we actually went to Korea, and I was supposed to fight K1, but I injured myself, and I went all the way to Korea, and I didn't fight. I was so mad. I was supposed to fight Jerome LeBanner.
No.
He's a K1 fighter, and
Yeah.
like I said, I was really good in kickboxing.
Mhm.
They would, like I said, that's how I got the name Mexican Van Damme.
Yeah.
You know, I could do the splits back then.
Yeah,
But I was 270 pounds, 260.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
I seen the logo that you have where you're like this and then the splits. Would you actually do that? That was back then.
Yeah, I was jumping, boom, about 5 feet up in the air.
Yeah, that's
weighing
insane.
260 pounds. Yeah, right now I could little bump and I might slip.
Well, I've seen not so long ago. I seen you do a high kick with Mark on a red carpet.
Oh yeah.
yeah. that was pretty cool.
I love Mark, man. We
Yeah.
did. Mark is my brother, man.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, man. I love you, brother. I miss you. And he made a big impact on my life. I mentored him in the movie industry business. I think Vince Romo too.
Mhm.
But I got him a lot of work. The last job we did together was My Redneck Neighbor. And he played a redneck, which
Yeah.
is really, that's perfect part for Mark.
Yeah, I seen some of the stuff on YouTube. Yeah, and on his Instagram with what was her name? This actress, right? Is it Mei Ling or what? The actress?
Bai Ling.
Bai Ling,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's a famous Asian Chinese actress.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of movies.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was in. She was Batman. She did Batman.
Yeah.
She did so many things.
When I first saw it,
Ling.
I thought Bai Ling. I just for whatever reason I thought it was a video game character, and I was like, wait. And then but then it reminded me of you kind of being portrayed in a video game, as Oleg, right? In Saints Row
3, right.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Yeah, that's this game right here, man.
How did they approach you to do something like this?
And Oleg is not, but I was actually at the E3 signing autographs as Oleg, and there's a friend of mine that owns Petrol.
Mm-hmm.
They did all, but they did a lot of the video games back then. With
Yeah.
THQ. How do you remember THQ?
Mm-mm.
EA Sports. They
Yeah.
did all
Oh yeah,
that stuff.
THQ, the brand. Yeah.
Right. So I got to work in WWE, the UFC one, Saints Row, Mad Max. I was even in Mad Max, a video game. And they actually used my body. If you see Oleg in the poster, it's my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like a big comical guy that's like 700 pounds. I was like, wow, that's me.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to see that. I go, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I have other video games. I got my own called MMA Supremacy. I'm a fighter in the video
are you
game.
really?
I actually have a character on MMA Supremacy.
Mariano Mendoza.
Mariano
Big Dawg?
Yeah. So if you ever see that game, it's a Xbox and PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And it was the first game with the woman fighter.
Mhm.
This is after, I think, UFC number 3, their video game.
Okay.
Of course, they have better video games. But
Yeah.
this one, I'm in the video game.
That's pretty
So
cool.
That's kind of
It's called
cool.
MMA Supremacy.
Yeah, or Supremacy MMA
Or Supremacy.
or MMA Supremacy. Yeah, look it up and
Yeah.
I'm there with there's not a lot of big name fighters on there, but they're all former, like they fought Strike Force, Showtime, Bellator, those
Yeah.
organizations.
Yeah. Cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So I know you're not done with everything. You're still acting, still doing your thing. What's next? What kind of projects do we have and can we expect from Mariano Mendoza?
Man, you know what? I was right now because of COVID, of course,
Right.
everything's slow. But I got, I guess, like 7 other films that are still getting edited.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that one that I just told you right now with Mark, my redneck neighbor. I did a lot of movies with Danny Trejo. I'm with Eric Roberts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ominous.
Oh,
Ominous is
he's
one
in
of-
a Redneck Neighbor too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he sure is. He sure is. And there's a movie called Michael Caine. And of course, the last big movie I did was 3 from Hell with Rob Zombie,
Yeah.
Emilio Rivera,
Mhm.
Danny Trejo. They killed off Danny really early on that one.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one, but yeah, Three from Hell. I've seen. Rob Zombie does a lot of crazy films.
Yeah. You either like him, his movies, or you don't. They're really extreme.
Yeah.
You know, the Devil's Rejects is a crazy one.
Man,
They basically cut the face off of the people and put them on as masks.
Yeah.
They do crazy stuff like that.
yeah.
I didn't know much about them until I got featured. I'm actually on the back of the video, which is kind of cool. I was like, what the
Oh, it's
hell?
that bottom one. Yeah.
There it is. So that's me right there, which is really cool. I didn't even know. I go, dude, I made the cut to be
nice.
on the video, and I'm not even one of the main actors, but I got like 10 videos covers that I'm in,
Yeah.
and it's featuring me. And I work a lot with Damien Chapa from Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh yeah.
That one of the most famous cholos in Hollywood.
Yeah. Did you feel you ever got typecasted like as a cholo? 'Cause I know you did some of those.
Yeah, I always played a bad guy, and it's okay because I remember when Danny interviewed him. It's okay. I want to be the official bad guy in Hollywood, and that was cool. But remember, I did comedy. I was an Eastbound and Down season regular.
Right, yeah.
I did some drama. I did martial arts, a lot of martial art movies.
Yeah.
I got a movie called N3 Dragon, Elephant Stop with JJ Stomp. He's really big in Vietnam. And so, yeah, when you guys see that movie, Elephant Stomp, you're going to see my martial arts. And that was recently, Mark was in that one too.
Oh, really?
I got him in that one, yeah. And he was doing martial arts and kung fu. You know how Mark does his kung fu. I forgot. We had a funny name for him, Chop Suey or something like that.
Chop Suey? That does sound familiar, yeah.
he had a funny name. I was like, oh, he's funny, man.
Yeah.
But it was some serious fight scenes. I almost passed out. But that one's going to come out. It's going to be good. And then, of course, I did my first short film called Master Chancla.
Oh, yeah.
And that's based off of this movie called Kung Fu Hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, it's the most famous.
Stephen Chow.
Yeah. Famous. If you ever watched Kung Fu Theater on Saturdays, I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
Funny movie. And everybody's like, he does a flying fist. It goes to Buddha and it comes down.
Yeah.
Funny stuff. So I made Master Chancla.
Yeah.
And I played Master Chancla.
Did you direct that one too?
Yeah. I don't know. I wrote it, produced it. And then Elvis, he worked with Operation Repo, Lou Pizarro. He was in it. Mark was in it. He played Master Ho-Ho. And he was eating Ho-Hos. I don't know what Ho-Hos was. He was creative. Mark created his own character. And I said, okay, man. And he's getting a chopstick with a Ho-Ho, which is like a ding-dong.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, man, this is something else. So that's on Amazon.
Master Chancla.
Yeah, Master Chancla, man.
That's great.
A lot of work, but
I did hear you say, and maybe just to close out the show right here. I did remember seeing one of your interviews, and you said that you'd rather be known as a working actor than that actor on that one movie, as opposed to just working at one time. But you have a career of this. You're a working actor. You have a career of making movies, and like I said, it doesn't sound like you're stopping anytime soon.
You know what? It's right now it's been rough, but even with this pandemic, I've actually did 6 films.
Wow.
Of course, most of them are non-union because the union's kind of not doing too much right now because of COVID. But I'm working on other stuff, and I like to help out my friends. And Mark, me and him, we did a lot of stuff together, and you never know, probably we can do something if I get some other people to work with. My friend just worked on Cholo Zombies.
Oh, okay.
And that was Pete, and that was a funny movie. It was a little cheesy, but
yeah.
This just, didn't you work on it? Yeah, he worked. Louis worked on it, but it was really, it was funny, man. I liked it. I was like,
I think right now we need a little bit of funny. We need to get back into the little old school, old school slasher films. I was talking to my buddy's film Murder in the Woods. That's an old school slasher film. Like, let's bring back some of that old stuff. The Master Chancla. Like, I want to see some funny stuff.
We need it, man. We need it because everybody's right now. It's crazy right now in this country. That's another subject, man. You don't even want to get.
It's a whole nother episode, man. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a veteran, 2-branch veteran, served in the Navy and the Army. I was going to go to Desert Storm, but they didn't need me. So I have friends that served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and that's my other passion is doing stuff with veterans.
Yeah.
You know, and of course kids, foster kids. I used to love talking to them, encouraging them. Hey, man, I grew up without a father, and I found my father figure, you know, in the gym and through God, and that's what kept me on track. So I didn't have my father, but you know, I found another way.
Yeah.
And the gym and making movies, it makes me happy.
Yeah, that's your true passion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's my natural drug.
That's a good one to be
without
on.
bad side effects.
Right. No hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
Well, I use a little CBD and a little edible once in a while for
Yeah.
the pain.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It's medicine, you know?
Yes.
You know, it's the real, true, natural medicine. So why not? Man, well, this has been fun. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
It was great. You know?
We can shake hands. I'm COVID free.
Yeah.
I've been tested 6 times.
Well, you have to be, right? When you're working.
Yeah. I had a doctor's visit, so you got to get tested there, and it's physical test, and then you got to the set. You got to get tested day before. Central casting. Now you got to get tested. But yeah, man, thank you. I was like, I got to do this interview, man, and I like you guys, and it's a blessing, and there's gonna be more to come, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna try to find. Got a couple friends of mine that would like to do this.
Awesome.
I'm good friends with Noel G.
Oh, okay.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but I know he likes to do, and he's really famous.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Fast and Furious, and you name it. He's another real famous guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Latino too.
I mean, I feel everybody has a story to tell and share, and if they're willing to share it on the podcast, and let's bring it. You know?
Right.
So
And
why
then,
not?
like I said, this is not just about me, you guys. It's about how I can help change, the little bit of the people I'm around, to give them hope and encouragement, and find faith and find God.
It's your way of paying it forward, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, man. I mean, there's going to be the next generation, and I'm not going to live it forever. And Danny Trejo told me the same thing, man. He goes, "Well, I guess I'll take your spot, Danny."
There you go.
I don't know if I'll make that kind of the amount of money he makes, but that guy is.
He's very humble. He still keeps it real OG, and he's very humble, you know.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Always helping out. He loves his dogs.
Yeah,
little chihuahuas that he has.
That's cool. Well, there you have it, you guys. This is Fidel Avendaño Jr., and I'm tapping out for the show with Mariano Mendoza.
God bless.
Hosted by Fidel. Tell it like it is, only tell it real. Live every Tuesday, you know the deal. We talking again. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. We're talking again. Come on. We're live.